Alright, I'm back. In the business. Welcome to Pony Island this time. Another pretty weird, spooky game. But it's really cool. It's got a lot of really interesting small time saves throughout the entire run. So I'm really glad to be able to show off the entire run. Let me just do one quick thing I forgot to do and double check one setting, and then I'll be good to go. Graphic settings, medium. Okay, I am ready to go. So I'm just gonna start in 3, 2, 1, go. So Pony Island is a game within a game. I'll start by introducing that fact. My game is very loud. I'm gonna quickly turn it down a lot. And then get into the game. So, it's a point-and-click adventure. About a video game made by the devil, essentially. What it is, it's fronted as this fun, innocent little pony game. However, its main motive is the devil is the one who made this game. And he is trying to steal the souls of innocent people who play it by trying to make a game so good that people would quite literally sell their souls just to play more of it. It's not that good a game. So, this is kind of that main gameplay that is supposed to be so good you want to get more of it. You simply have a automatically moving pony, and you have to left-click your mouse to jump. If you die, you get sent back to the beginning of the stage, so this part is not really... You can't really save time too much at the beginning. However, throughout the whole run, you're going to see gameplay like this, and you're going to want to not die, because otherwise you'll lose a lot of time.
The jumping feels so oddly familiar.
This game was made in Unity, so I wouldn't be surprised if it's some sort of, like, either default sound or, like, modified default sound.
Oh, I know. I was thinking about the Google Chrome minigame when you don't have internet.
Oh, the dinosaur game, yeah. So now I'm going to get into this area here. There's going to be a character named Hopeless Soul. And Hopeless Soul is going to be the one who tries to guide us out of the game. Thousands of souls are trapped within Pony Island, not just ours. We're technically in a sort of like purgatory right now because we're dead. So we are going to try and get through this thing in the run as fast as we can. This is Lucifer, the devil, and he is going to try and get mad at us that we quit the game. In this cutscene, I'll touch on something that was just mentioned in chat by current world record holder Linus. The graphics setting that I checked was I wanted to make sure the graphics quality is medium. Medium and high. When the game is at low graphics setting, those pony sections, the pony moves depending on your FPS of your PC instead of the game rather, which can be better depending on your PC. So it's pay to win, so you don't use low graphics settings. I kind of blanked on the explanation there, but I eventually got it. So medium is the lowest required. Fortunately, this game isn't really like system intensive, so that's fine. Either way, now that that's done, with that chat section where we get introduced to two major characters, we're going to have an unwinnable game of Pony Island. So our goal is going to be to just die and run out of lives as fast as possible in order to unlock the options menu and go into the advanced options menu. From there, there's a bunch of menuing we can do to get to the pony salvation options. and do some puzzles. I never explained the basic puzzle that you're going to see a lot of throughout this run. It's these block swap puzzles. Basically, you have to get this key from point A to point B. It moves automatically when every square on the board is filled. And depending on where arrows are, it will do different things. We're going to get introduced to quite a bit of different types of squares. However, the basic three rather, are squares that turn, so like these right-lefts, squares that move straight downwards, like the downwards arrows, and these red circle ones that just make you restart the puzzle. So now we have lasers, which are cool. But that brings us into a very big part of the run, which is kill delays. To emulate an old-fashioned arcade game, whenever you kill an enemy, the game lets out a slight bit of lag. That's not good. So in order to try and counter that, the way that enemies work is that when you're done with an enemy wave, there's a certain amount of time until the next one spawns in. So I'm going to try and take as long as I can with each enemy wave. That way, the next one spawns in later. And what that therefore means is... That's not the right button. What that means is that there's overall less enemies in each level if I take as long as possible to kill each enemy set. And what that means is less lag. So that's where the name comes from. You delay killing an enemy for as long as possible. I just collected a ticket there because it was kind of in my way, so I decided to grab it. I didn't really decide to, I just happened to jump into it. Tickets are collectibles that don't do anything in the any percent run. However, there are 24 hidden tickets throughout the game, and collecting all 24 of them gets you a secret ending. All the way back at SS for Seat 5, I did a speedrun of all tickets. So if you want to see that, you can do that there. But this is any percent, so I do not have to worry about tickets at all. Coming up is Azazel, more specifically Azazel Skip. This delete button that's in this locked chamber is still technically active. However, the cursor, my personal cursor, isn't visible, like, when it's in there. So you can see when I'm in the locked area, the in-game cursor doesn't move. My clickable cursor is still active. I paused the game so I can see my standard cursor and can guide it to the delete button while still being able to see it, and just skip the whole process you're supposed to go through to unlock the delete button. And that's one of the core files deleted. One thing I didn't explain was when we were told that we have to get out of Pony Island, the way we plan to do it is by using all three, is by deleting all three core files and then initiating a system dump to just remove the whole system. And now we're at the second boss. So I'll go into a lot of explanation of what just happened. So, at the beginning of Act 2, you get sent to the desktop. And at the desktop, usually what happens is you have to put in these passwords. The passwords are the same every time, so we know the password to each desktop before we even, log into one. If you log into Hopeless Souls desktop before a certain cutscene plays, as a nice little Easter egg, you get to move straight to the end of Act 2. So by just remembering a 4-digit passcode, you can skip the entirety of Act 2 in this game and just go straight to that boss fight. That boss fight's pretty simple. You just have to laser the 3 weak points. One thing specifically is that you saw me attack the mouth first. At the beginning of the fight, there was this attack where they would spit spikes, and I would have to get rid of the spikes, otherwise they would damage me and I would have to start the fight over. By getting rid of the mouth, the boss can no longer do that attack, So it's what you aim for first, because that attack is the only thing that stops you from just focusing your laser on his mouth just the whole fight. Also, I don't know who discovered Azazel Skip, but I know it was discovered when I first started running the game. So next is Act 3. This is Louie, and he is a mascot. When we skipped Act 2, we kind of skipped a lot of stuff. He was created in a kind of panic. At the end of Act 2 that we never saw. In the story, we've been double dead for a while. So you know how I mentioned we're kind of in like a purgatory state throughout the process of this game where our soul is trapped? I immediately jumped right into a gate. I'm so good at this game. Oh my goodness. Dying in the section sucks because Louie's dialogue cutscenes aren't actually like cutscenes. They're just dialogue triggers that happen during actual levels. So when he's supposed to be talking, the game's not playing a cutscene, it's just putting me through an empty level. So if you die, you have to actually just wait that amount of dialogue distance. So that death was bad. But either way, you saw me do something, do this little reload. At the end of the level. Also, in this part, in this, like, revamped version of the game, I don't have to worry about kill delays. There's one exception to that. I'll get to it later. But I can just kill these things. You saw me do that. Usually when the game, when you beat a level in a section of the game like this, the game will do this intentional freeze for about a second. However, if you quickly unpause, or pause and unpause, the game will cancel the rest of that intended freeze and just go straight to the transition to the next level. Oh, I've heard of devs reusing the same sound effects between games before. That's not entirely unlikely. Were you gonna chime in? Because this is honestly like one of the best times for donations.
Unfortunately, we do not have a donation, but we can still plug in what Speed Stuff for Charity is getting donations for. That is Direct Relief. That's an Mauritanian aid organization that we are basically helping them on their efforts to help worldwide the COVID-19. And also, please, whenever donations is being done, you can also remember to plug in into our incentives, like extra runs or extra activities post runs, or as well to our several bid wars, reminding that we already raised over $1,000, which is a record for all Speed Stuff for Charity, and we are looking forward to smash that record furthermore. So please consider the good cause we are working for, and let's consider the good incentives and bid wars we have.
All right, thank you. I did a quick puzzle break here. There were two signs you've never seen before. One of them was a portal sign, which is introduced in Act 2, but we skipped that, where if you have two purple signs on the board, when the butterfly reaches one, it will go straight to the other. And the other is the blue sign we got introduced to, which moves the base butterfly down a tile, but creates a column to the right. And that's just two signs to make puzzles more interesting. But now we have more gameplay sections, and we get introduced to corrupted butterflies. Corrupted butterflies are pretty annoying. They're kind of the opposite of normal butterflies. If you hit one, you have to start the level over. It counts as a death if you attack a corrupted butterfly. I'll answer a quick question in chat. If you only have one active portal on, on your puzzle, what happens is it just acts as a down arrow. And that's a default state for all sorts of things. So, for example, if you have a left arrow sign in the leftmost column, it acts as a down arrow. So, just like that. Pretty simple. Oh, I almost hit that thing. So I'm gonna go for this once. This is Jesus. So in Chapter 2, or in Act 2, you get introduced to this type of enemy called the Big Enemy that does this thing. It flies at the front of the screen and shoots these projectiles at you. The reason I bring this up is because even in revamped Pony Island... Okay, I'm just gonna kill him this time. Even in revamped Pony Island, every time you hit Jesus, it lags the game. So it technically saves, like, somewhere around a second to try and keep Jesus alive throughout this level. However, because of his corrupted butterfly shield, you can get these sometimes basically unwinnable patterns in the level. So, it's pretty risky to go for that, like, second or two. I did want to go for it once in the marathon just because it would be cool if I got it. And you do get a collectible ticket for beating him, so in the all tickets, or for keeping him alive. So for the all tickets run, you're required to do that. And as I mentioned, it's pretty random. But once you get through that level, you have another puzzle break. This one is pretty easy. And then this one is pretty long. You might notice the glitched out flower to the right. There is a kind of lore thing you can do with that. Obviously, I've been ignoring a lot of the story, but there's a lore thing you can do in this game where there's this demon, and you can ask him 3 questions throughout the game. And each of them are like these lore questions. And there's 5 total questions, so you have to play the game twice to get them all answered. But over there's that demon. If you go into that corrupted flower, you can ask him a question about the lore. This Jesus is pretty easy to not kill because normal enemies in this level stop spawning once Jesus spawns. However, in this version of the level, where the game's kind of back to its creepier state, my wings will actually lag the game every time they come out the same way killing an enemy does. So I try and bring them out as minimal as possible in that section, just to not waste a bunch of time. And then here we can do a puzzle. And there's that puzzle done. And now we're on the desktop of Act 3. As we're going to learn here, after the poison that we got hit with at the end of Act 2, it has been 331 years. So, after all that time, we're now back on our quest to delete the 3rd and final core file on this computer. So I have to wait for this guy to talk, and then we're going to get into the betas section of the run. Way overestimate. Sorry, I should have estimated 331 years and 36 minutes.
Oh no.
Yeah, but now we're going to get into the betas portion of the run, where there are 3 kind of Pony Island variations you can play, and I have to play all of them. So this first one is Pony Island 3D. It's exactly what it sounds like. This version has no enemies in it, so I just have to jump over the gates. And for some reason, I like to play this version of Pony Island with the worst imaginable camera angle. So here it is, as top left as it can go.
It's messing up with my...
Oh, mine
OCD.
too. Don't worry. My depth perception is not good enough to do something like this, but I do it anyways. And there we go. So next up is Devil Island. It's the same thing as the standard Pony Island game, except the sprites are swapped. So we're gonna play as a dude schmoovin', and we have to defeat the ponies. He's schmoovin'. I should mention that this is the last time in the run I'll have to worry about kill delays. Oh, I panicked! This is why my estimate's 38.
Your host almost died trying to laugh, but not to laugh at the same time. Please remember to drink water.
I'm not a pro gamer, dude. So let me explain what happened there. The panic was entirely on me. I saw something funny and I thought I landed, but I didn't, so I winged right into a gate. What happened was a funny glitch called an enemy freeze. I don't know why it happens, but it does. This game's good. Sometimes the enemy just fails to function and will just stand there and not move, and then it won't attack you. It'll just leave. No, I'm not doing it intentionally. I've never done an enemy freeze intentionally. So this is text-based Pony Island. It's a text-based game. So the goal is to mash the things that I know to press. The kind of tech here is to shorthand your words if you can, and also type them as soon as you can. And you can kind of see text boxes trying to overlap with each other, and it's kind of funny. And also, text boxes are active slightly before you can interact with, or you can other way around. You can interact with text. They're active slightly before I appear. So I can press jump right there before that text box appears, and then the game will register frame 1 that I said the action. And that saves time if I time it right. I timed it wrong on the second one there, you saw. So, I didn't get it, but you can get it. There you go. That's what it looks like. That was not it. Jump, shoot, do nothing. I'm gonna shoot. Didn't matter. Alright. So, we're now done with all the beta Pony Islands. This is the last one.
An explosion of confetti announces your success.
Yay! So, now we're going to get a portal to the third and final core file. And just like the last 2 core files, this one does have a Guardian. Game, don't crash. This is Asmodeus. Asmodeus is a nice little quiz show where he tries to trick you into looking away from him. You're supposed to pay really good attention to him despite all the distractions he throws on screen in order to answer his questions. So with that being said, I'm going to get on my phone because this is just a lot of text, so I can like look at Twitter or whatever.
Wow, is a lot of text. Please remind, we are receiving donations for Direct Relief, which is a humanitarian aid organization active in all 50 states in the US and more than 80 countries, with a mission to improve the health and lives of people affected by poverty or emergency. They're helping their COVID-19 response team in order to help them help worldwide for helping the treatment and people that has COVID-19. Wow.
So here's a fun fact. I'm playing this game on offline mode. So that I didn't get like Steam notifications during the run, since I kind of need to click in the bottom right screen a few times. So usually when you're on online mode, the Steam notifications in the top right actually read your Steam friends list and try and pretend that an actual friend is messaging you to trick you into tabbing out of the game. Because on top of answering a question wrong, Asmodeus' definition of looking away from him includes tabbing out of the game, even though the game auto pauses, like when you unfocus from the game like there's no background play essentially. So if you're not tabbed into the game is frozen. So you're supposed to check your Steam there. However, when you're offline, the game just generates a random, like a predetermined profile, and that's who the Dan Man is. It might be a reference to the creator of this game, whose name is Daniel. Daniel Mullins, to be specific. Really cool dude, but... Back to Twitter.
Well, since Laurie is back to Twitter, remind that with every donation, you can select incentives and select options for upcoming bid wars. Please take a look whenever a new donation is being done, so you can check all the options we have available for set incentives. And remind to drink water regularly.
So there's one more thing to do here. This is really the last, time-saving strat in the run. Asmodeus is going to test our memory. To tell us to remember the code 2023. Halfway through typing this code, he's going to fake the game crashing to get us to click off of the game. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pause and unpause, because on top of tabbing out, pausing the game also counts as not looking at him, which means you lose. I'm going to pause and unpause, and the game will let us type the code well Asmodeus tells us that we lose. And if I input the code and press enter before the death animation happens, the game will register that I'm done with that checkpoint. and answer the question without the fake game crash occurring, saving about 20 seconds. And that's the end of Asmodeus. So we've deleted all the core files, and now we have just like a few more cutscenes and then a very long epilogue. We're going to talk to Hopeless Soul for a little bit. He's going to be like, you've done it. You've deleted the core files. Now you have to leave the machine. Now you gotta go. You gotta leave. You gotta escape. You gotta be free. And we're gonna have an escape sequence. Once I click the button to initiate the escape sequence, there is no more anything I can do to save or lose time. It is the last required input for the run. However, the run still goes through the escape sequence. What I'm going to do is I'm basically just going to talk about random stuff for the next 7 minutes or so, and then we're done with the run. I talked to a friend about this, Linus, recently, and I still like going through the ending. So yeah, there you go. There's my last input, technically. So I'm gonna start giving shoutouts now. I have 6.5 minutes before the timer ends. I'm gonna be underestimate, but we can save time if I just do those shoutouts now. I'd like to give a shoutout first off to someone who I can't name because I don't think they want me to use their name anymore. They've not been on the internet for a while. They kind of deleted all their accounts on everything. But they were a great help. They made the original speedrun guide for this game. And they were one of the original mods for this game. And was the one who helped me just learn the game early on. Next person I'd like to give shoutouts to is Rollin, who is this game's super mod. Was like the first person to do a run of the game. And is the one who has always been there in the community from, like, day one of the game's release. This came out, like, 4 days into January of 2016, and I learned it in February of 2017, so I wasn't there at the very beginning, but I definitely have seen this community change quite a bit. The next shout-out I'd like to give is to two people, for pretty similar reasons, Narelle and Thos and Ava Sam. And we can group Legitimate Potato into this group as well. Those three have been some of the biggest competition in 2017 running this game. Currently, I have 2 of the 3 world records in this game. This category is actually the one record I don't have. And I think a big part is thanks to some of the motivation I gained from those 3 runners, pushing me to my limit all the way back in 17. And my current PB, 35:04, being record at the time by like 12 seconds. But like, I still talk with 2 of those today, and one of them very recently came back in the Discord. So, huge shout outs to those 3 for always just being friendly people who encouraged me, and we could help each other. And then the last shout-out I would like to give is to the modern running community of this game. I'm not the most active in this game, I'll admit, but there are 2 runners that had run this game this year and gotten really good times. So I'd like to give a shout-outs to Resolutions, who I don't think is here, but someone I know is here, and is the current world record holder for this category is Linus, who's been in the chat this whole time. Is really good at this game. And I don't think they touched other categories, but let's just say those 2 records I have might not stand long if they do. So yeah, those are all the shoutouts I want to give to the Pony Island community specifically. I'll give a shoutouts to SS4C staff in particular. Deathline is a big fan of this game, I'm aware, and is basically the main reason it's gotten into 3 events now. The second marathon I ever did a run at was Speed Stuff for Charity 3, and the first game I played at that event was Pony Island on Sunday morning. I got a time that was about 2 minutes better than the time I'm gonna get in this run. But that's besides the point. This run hasn't really changed in the years since I started it. But I'd like to give a shout-outs there. I would like to not give a shout-out to NES underscore. Anti-shout-out to NES underscore. I'll say Piner's name out loud, but not say anything else. No, but in all seriousness, I've been super happy and excited and loved SS4C ever since 2017. And I'm really glad that not only have I been accepted in this community for such a long time, but I'm now able to be a very big contributor into making the event happen every year, starting from now on. It's just amazing. So thank you, every other SS4C staff member, whether you're one of the organizers like Deathline, or you're someone like Helix and Zothany, who are hosts you saw earlier in the marathon, who just joined the staff team this year. I appreciate everyone that's been a part of this marathon, and I do mean everyone, so thank you. With that being said, the system dump is at like 83 out of 100, which means that the timer call is in less than a minute. So I am just going to relax until the timer call. And time. Alright, that's Pony Island. I already said all my shoutouts, so I don't have much to say other than thank you for letting me run. I'm actually still not done just yet. These two games I've mentioned are two of my favorite games that I've run in the past couple years. Another one of my favorite games that I've run in the past couple years is Octopath Traveler. So we'll see you guys in just a moment for Sanjin running Octopath Traveler. And I am going to be taking over as the host for that run. So, see you guys in a few minutes.
Yes.